morning, second year. Yesterday, in the previous lecture, we have started with the unit number 2, which is geodetic survey. In geodetic surveying, we have to consider the curvature of the earth, and the area is greater than 250 square kilometers. Yesterday we have seen these things. Now, starting with the geodetic surveying, we have introduced yesterday that there are two methods. One is triangulation and second one is the precise leveling. We are going to learn in detail triangulation system. What is triangulation? So triangulation is nothing but the series of triangles connected with each other. And why triangles they have taken? Because of the sine rule. If we are knowing one side and angle, we can be able to find out the other side and other angles. So that is the main thing behind selecting the triangles for the triangulation system. So in triangulation system, again, as I have mentioned, that suppose these are the number of triangles which are connected with each other like this, or it might be like this. In this system, number of triangles are connected with each other, and this system is called as an triangulation. Now, in this number of triangles, we have to measure one side. Let us say it is A to B, which is called as baseline. And any one angle, let us suppose we will measure this angle. Only measuring baseline and one angle, we can able to find out the remaining distances or remaining angles by using the sine rule. Now, somewhere at the end, we have to take one more measurement, which is called as your check base. Okay, so the combination of baseline, measurement, check base is to be measured by very accurate advanced techniques. There won't be any kind of error while measuring this check base as well as baseline, because on the baseline measurement we will going to calculate the remaining sides and as well as remaining angles. Okay, so this is about the introduction part that we have seen in the previous lecture. Today we will see the classification of a triangulation system. Classification of triangulation. There are three classifications. First is primary, or we will say it as first order. Second one is secondary. We will call again it is second order. And third one is tertiary, or it is third order. So these are the three classification system for triangulation: primary, first order; secondary, second order; tertiary, third order. We will see one by one what is primary, secondary and tertiary classification of a triangulation system. Now second here, if I draw one triangle like this, it is a bigger triangle. Consider it is a bigger triangle, and I will say that this is the primary triangle. This primary triangle will have the sides greater than 160 kilometer. Means if this is say A, B and C, this distance is not less than 100 to 160 kilometers. And inside these angles, inside this triangle, if we are going to draw one more triangle, those triangles can be categorized into the secondary triangles. Secondary, A, B and C is a bigger triangle. We will call it as a primary or first order. The length of the primary triangle or the side, one side might be greater than 160 kilometers. If we draw still further triangles inside the primary triangle, let us say it is first triangle, say this is second, say this is third, say this is fourth triangle. So these are the four triangles which are inside the primary triangles. So we will call it as the secondary triangles. And still, if we draw one more order, let us say it is third order, inside these secondary triangles, then we will call it as a tertiary triangles. Then it is called as a third order triangles. What is the difference between first, second and tertiary? In the first triangle, your sides are almost greater than 160. Then the degree of accuracy will be degree of accuracy will be 1 in 50,000. Means if we measure 50,000 lengths or 50,000 angles in all the measurements, only one error is permissible. This is 1 in 50,000. If let us say I will be talking about the primary triangle. In a primary triangle, say this is first primary triangle. Besides this, there might be another primary triangle like this. So number of triangles are connected with each other, which is called as your triangulation. So if you consider a single triangle in triangulation system, which consists of sides not less than 160 km, the degree of accuracy should be 1 in 50,000. There should not be any error when we are going to measure, or a single error when we are going to measure almost 50,000 number of measurements. The measurements might be finding out angles, finding out the sides. This is the main classification or main bifurcation. And for check base, this accuracy should be 1 in 25,000. To check the base as far as the primary classification is concerned or first order classification of triangulation system is concerned, your check base should be 1 in 25,000. It should be 1 in 25,000. So for classification or first order primary classification, we are going to use very refined instruments, advanced techniques, and accuracy. As you can see, we will measure it much more accuracy. We will measure it with much more accuracy. Okay, so these are the details about the primary classification. Degree of accuracy will be 1 in 50,000. Check base should be 1 in 25,000. Very refined instruments, advanced techniques, and silent instruments or advanced instrument is to be used. What is the purpose? Is to minimize or no error in measuring the sides, to increase the accuracy. To increase the accuracy. So this is regarding the primary classification system. In secondary or second order classification, as I said, say if it is a primary triangle, inside the primary triangle, if we are going to draw one more series of triangles, say first, say second, say third, say fourth. So if in the bigger triangle, likewise we are going to draw some more triangles. These triangles will be called as your second order or secondary triangles. These are called as secondary or second order. Here, the length of baseline varies from 2 to 5 kilometer. Then length of sides will be 8 to 70 kilometers. Degree of accuracy it should be 1 in 50,000, and for check on base it is 1 in 10,000. So these are some of the details of second order classification system for triangulation. The length of baseline should be 2 to 4 kilometers. If you compare with the previous one, it was again 80 kilometer. Length of sides, it was 8 to 70 kilometer. Previously for primary classification, it was not less than 160 kilometers. Degree of accuracy have kept same, 1 in 50,000. And check on base is 1 in 10,000. So these are the classification or detail for second classification, which is nothing but your secondary order or second order classification. So again, for if you consider the instruments, we are going to use the same instruments that we are going to use for primary classification system. Most refined, most accurate, and advanced technique is to be used again for the second classification system. And lastly, for the third classification, which is called as tertiary classification. In tertiary classification, length of baseline varies from 2 km to 5 km. Your length of side again varies from something, say 1 km up to 3 km, and degree of accuracy will be 1 in 5,000, and check on base will be 1 in 5,000 only. So if you consider a triangle inside this triangle, if we consider if I draw a small example of tertiary. So it will be like this. Say these are the tertiary triangles. I will be taking a hashed portion for representing the tertiary triangles. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Again, these three triangles will become your tertiary or third order triangles, in which the length of baseline should be 2 to 5 kilometers. The length of side should be 1 kilometer to 3 kilometer, and degree of accuracy will be 1 in 5,000, as well as check on base will be 1 in 5,000. This is tertiary classification, third order classification system. So second year classification system for triangulation will consist of three types. One is primary, secondary and tertiary. Okay. So second year we have seen the classification system for primary, secondary and tertiary classification. Now today again we will go for the next topic. Now second year, as we have discussed that for geodetic surveying, let us suppose, as I have mentioned, that say this is your first point, say it is on the ground, say this is your second point which is again onto the ground, and let us suppose that we will be doing the secondary classification in which the distance between point A and point B is 20 kilometers. Distance between point A and point B is 20 kilometers. So, and if point A and point B are not intervisible to each other, then what we have to do? Then we have to construct some towers for the visibility purpose at point A and at point B. Now this geodetic surveying will have many years to complete the particular project. So these station points, point A and point B, might be required in a future stage. So these points are much more important, as we are going to take the references by using these 2 points, and we are going to establish some few more points by referring the old points. So these points should be marked in such a way that after say 10 years, we can able to identify these 2 points. So how to mark these station points, that is the topic, that is the today's topic we are going to see. Station marks. Second year, if you consider that this geodetic surveying should be last for 10 years, after 10 years if we will be starting from any old station, so we have to mark our station in such a way that it should be again identified without much more disturbance, without much more hesitation. Now the first point when we consider the station point is, it should be a permanent in nature. It should be a permanent mark, either by using some permanent monuments or permanent structures above the ground or below the ground. If no permanent structure is there, no permanent monument, if it is not there, then we have to mark the station point below the ground. How we can mark? So I will be drawing a rough reference sketches for marking the station marks. So if suppose this is our ground level, below the ground level we will be putting one plate, probably a copper plate, and 2 plates, one is at the top, second is at the bottom, and on the copper plate we are going to mark the station. We are going to mark the station, so that in case of any natural disaster, it might be a flood, it might be anything, the station mark will not be disturbed. So what I have done, this is our ground level. So below the ground level, at just below the ground level, I have marked one copper plate, and at some distance below the ground, again I have kept a second copper plate. These are the two copper plates which are connected with a small vertical member. It is again might be made up of the metal which cannot be corroded. So likewise we have to mark our station which is permanent inside this ground. Any kind of natural calamities will not disturb this station. Okay, so your station mark should be permanent in nature. Either you prepare a pedestal, concrete pedestal, mostly concrete. Why concrete? Because it might be last for a number of years. Concrete pedestals will last for a number of years. If concrete pedestal is not feasible, then we will go for the monument, we will go for a structure below the ground. How we can prepare it? Take a copper plate with some thickness, mark the center on that particular copper plate, and two copper plates, one is at the top, second is at the bottom, in which is connected by a member, vertical member, and on the copper plate it should be written that, say if it is station A, then station A, the coordinates of the station as well as its RL that we have considered. So as we will be mentioning the details on it, so let us say this is my point and I will refer it point A. So I will be writing the details like RL of the point, like the coordinates x, y, z coordinates of the point, the latitude and departure, which is nothing but x, y and z coordinates, which is nothing but RL. So all these details should be marked, and that details will be kept just below the ground so that the natural disasters like flood or tsunami or earthquake will not disturb our station point. Because based on these station points, we have done all the triangulation. We have done the whole triangulation calculations. So these stations are much more important. If we are going to check whether we have done the correct measurement, then again we have to come back to the station and we have to check, we have to find out, we have to analyze that particular details. So station marks are marked in such a way that the no disturbances, it can be easily available, it can be easily identified after a few years when we come back to the same station, and it should be kept in such a way that a permanent monument, permanent structure above the ground. If it is not possible, then prepare such a pedestal, such a construction where your station marks should be properly kept inside the stages. Now for this particular station marks, we have to draw some reference sketches. We have to draw some reference sketches. Just like this monument is having some distance from permanent structure, it is having some angle with the permanent structure. So likewise, to understand the location, to understand the direction, we have to draw some reference sketches so that we can get a easy direction of the stations. Easy directions of the stations. So it will be station reference sketches, some reference maps are to be drawn and kept aside to understand the location, to understand the direction of the station mark. And this reference point or station point should be referred with at least from two stations. So if I give you the figure, let us suppose on the ground we have marked the point A. So point A in future should be referred by at least say two permanent structure. Say this is any permanent structure over here. So I will be marking the distance from a permanent structure. Say this is distance x, say this is distance y. So if I draw the same line, on the same line at x distance, the point is there, and if you look at towards the y distance, so from y distance this point is located. So this is my first reference point, and for the second reference point I will be taking any tower like this. Suppose this is a tower and it is having some angle, so we have to find out this angle, we have to find out this distance. So likewise, a single station for triangulation system should be properly marked with two reference sketches, two maps. Say this is first, say this is second. Why? Because it is marked for the preparation of triangulation system. If it is primary triangulation, secondary or tertiary, this point, this station mark is much more important for the future reference. Okay, so this is about the station mark, how to mark the station mark, how it is important for taking the future references.